The next verse, it says, He leads me in paths of righteousness for His name's sake. Everyone say His name's sake. This thing has to be about Jesus, guys. Our works of righteousness have to be about Him. This is the place where He purifies the motives of our hearts. This is the place where He breaks performance off of us. He wants us to walk in righteousness, we know that. But it can't be for ourselves. It has to be for Him. In March of 2020, my community in Kansas City, we entered into a 40-day fast. And I know that Harvest was doing their own fast right here too. During that same, there was some crossover. And it was an awesome time. I felt like the Lord's hand was really on me, making me lie down. A lot of self-reflection. I could, recognize the Psalm 23 journey that He was taking me on. So we're entering into this fast, and I decide within myself, I've done some extended fasting over the last few years, but I've never done 40 days on water. I want to go for a 40-day water fast. And I go for it with all my heart, and I make it to about day 10, and I feel like I'm about to die. I get to day 10, and I'm just feel like I'm withering away. I'm just like, oh my gosh, Lord, I can't do this. And I call a mentor of mine named Richard, and I'm like, Richard, what do? I feel like I'm going to die. And he was like, Nathan, why don't you just drink some juice? And that was like a revelation to me. I was like, oh my gosh, that's a good idea. Why didn't I think about that? How many of you guys are thankful for older and wiser men and women who can see things that are sometimes obvious, should be obvious? Right? Sometimes we just can't see them. I was like, oh, you're right. All right, I'll get some juice. And so I went to Walmart. Oh my gosh, that was like the worst Walmart run of my life. I'm just trying, chug through the Walmart, find some carrot juice, bring it back home, and I water down the carrot juice because sometimes you can shock your system if you just jump right back into stuff. And so I was trying to be careful, and I'm really disappointed in myself, guys. I mean, I'm like, gosh, I thought this was going to be it. The Lord had really stripped some things away from me, so I wasn't doing a whole lot. And I was like, if I can't do a 40-day water fast now, maybe I probably never will. And I was just disappointed in myself as I'm pouring my glass of carrot juice, watering it down. And I sit down on the couch and I begin to drink it. And, first of all, I feel like life just begins to come through, back to my physical body, first of all. But all of a sudden, I find myself having an experience with the Lord where I felt like I was having what I call a Jordan River moment, where when Jesus was getting baptized by John the Baptist, the heavens opened over him and his Father spoke to Jesus. He said, "This is my Son, in whom I'm so well pleased." This is my Son, and I'm proud of him. And I felt like He was speaking that over me. I felt His delight over me like maybe I never have in my whole life. The delight of my Father, even in the midst of my weakness, even in the midst of not being able to do what I set out to do, He said, "I'm proud of you, son." And I just began to cry. And I felt His delight so powerfully. And guys, that moment did something in me. It broke this spirit of performance off of me. When I realized all of a sudden how mixed within my motives to do amazing things for the Lord was to build a reputation for myself of being spiritual, of being someone who just goes harder than anyone else my age. I realized how much in the back of my mind I wanted to be known as the guy who did the 40-day fast, and who fasted more than everyone else's age and prayed more and whatever else. And the Lord had to break that in me. He had to break that in me. He had to He said, Nathan, I want you to walk in righteousness and I want you to do these awesome things, but it has to be about me. Lord, I pray that you would break performance off your church. God, that it would be about your name's sake and not our own.